Please silence your phones, but don't turn them off, because if you're inspired to take pictures and tell people about it and post, this is one of those places where the more publicity, the more awareness we get, the better we all are and going to be. So welcome. Thank you for joining us here today on something that is a pilot of what we believe to be the pilot for many down the road. I'm Jonathan Pillett, the founder of Unlabel Me, and I'm here in collaboration with the extraordinary women leadership at Open Hearts Art Center. And it's a proud moment for all of us, because I think that raising awareness about neurodiversity is something that helps us all. Because we're all on a spectrum of something, right? And yet what labels do is separate us so often. That someone is on one side of a label and someone else is on another side of a label, all based upon a word that creates an assumption and often a judgment, and then separation from each other. And we're here today to use personal storytelling to kind of entertain and elevate. That's the idea. To open minds and hearts, to look at life a little bit differently. Because many of us don't know anything about a lot of things. And this is something in a world of separation and polarization, how essential it is to have more empathy and compassion in the world. And that's part of what Unlabel Me is all about. It's to open perspective so that one could say, coming out of here, wow, I never thought of that way. It's not about changing how you look at things. It's not with an intention other than opening your minds. And storytelling has a way to do that. And we have 12, well, more than 12 people, but 12 monologues here. As a dad, I'm proud that there's 3 dads performing here today, because I think there's so often men can get lost in the shuffle of autism and the spectrum and why people are here, and I'm just honored, to have ignited something here. That Unlabel Me, our tagline is label me to see me, unlabel me to know me. And that applies to all of us about everything, right? And so I'd like you to just close your eyes for a second. And when you think about label me to see me, unlabel me to know me, I want you to think about yourself. How you feel you've been labeled, mislabeled. And then for a moment, think about someone who in your life you've labeled and came to see that assumption might be quite off. Because the heart of the label, it's just a word until we have an assumption. And that's why one of our t-shirts, says, don't assume, just ask. And this label here, normal, in quotes, obviously the quotes are because, what does that mean? But, because I'm not saying I'm normal without the quotes. It's the same air quotes that come with being too much, not enough, all those things that we say about ourselves often and about each other. So as we get started, we're going to be brought into a little bit of a ceremony here with Adora Winquist, who is going to, on your seats you had a little bag with some essential oil in there.
If you don't have one, I have a few extras.
Yes. And also on your seat is not only a program, but it's an essay that's written by Amy Morrison, who's sitting right over there, who Adora sent me her essay 2 days ago, and it was too late to kind of incorporate Amy into this, but it was important because it gives such a perspective on on what it's like to be inside someone's brain. So Adora,
Yes, I'm gonna I just need one more oil.
I'll get the bag. Okay. Welcome. No problem. Anyway, before we get started, I'd love to give a big round of applause to the people who are about to perform with you, because they're sharing from their heart and their soul, all different perspectives. Okay, here you go.
Jonathan and Open Heart Center for this invitation to share the medicine of nature with you. But before we open up these little golden bags of goodness, I want to just acknowledge everyone that is sitting here that is so brave to come forward and share your superpower. And for all of us here, just to take a moment and look at our fingertips. So there's something that is so profound about your fingertip. Your fingerprint, your unique pattern, there is no other pattern like the one on your fingers. And just like this, you are a unique individuation of creation. You have a unique set of gifts and talents. And for all of us that are here to unlabel this idea of neurodivergence, well, you all have a set of superpowers. And when you forget that, you can simply look at your fingertips and remember. In the mid to late 90s, when I first started working with oils on Cape Cod, Massachusetts, there was a psychotherapist that was doing what was then pretty leading edge work with ADD, ADHD, autism, individuals with emotional challenges. And I could really relate to so much of that, because the core reason I came into this field was to address my own challenges, mentally, emotionally, physically. And now I realize many moons later that this idea of ADD, ADHD really is like an ad, or as Sophie, what did you say earlier? The odd, AUD? I love that. It is something that makes us unique. It is part of my superpower. And I'm here to remind you that you have a superpower too. So these little golden bags, does everyone have one now? I hope. I have a few more in my pocket. So I've given out maybe, a few thousand of these this year, specifically to wounded warriors and active duty military members in the United States, and actually from about 23 other countries in the world. And the idea is that this little bottle is infused with natural oils that come from Mother Earth, like lavender flowers producing lavender oil, chamomile, frankincense, aromatics that help to soothe and balance the nervous system. And this little card in here on the back has a QR code. And when you click on this, you'll come to what is known as tactical alchemy, which is this system, neuroscience-based, through the 5 senses, to bring you tools like this aromatic formula to help soothe, calm, balance, and harmonize your nervous system. Because the sense of smell is the fastest way to connect with the brain, the limbic system, the amygdala, these systems that regulate so much of our physiology, like mood, memory, emotion, sleep, Who likes to sleep? Who has challenges sleeping some days? Yeah. Or feeling anxious. Does anyone feel anxious here? Anxiety was one of my core challenges. And so to give you this little bottle to put it in your fingertips, right, in your hands, to give you agency, to let you know that you can literally change how you feel in the moment. So when you scan this code, you'll find tactical alchemy, solfeggio frequencies, meditation, tapping points like one that we'll do in a few minutes together on the ear to soothe the nervous system. And we're gonna have an experience of this together so it anchors in your body, right? So you're building a muscle memory connected from the experience in the brain. And so you can come to a state of calm and receptivity to really receive the brilliance of these individuals that are here to share so courageously with us today. So now, go ahead and just take out the little bottle. And I'm going to walk you through this experience. So this little bottle is diluted in jojoba, so the oils are safe for use on your skin. And you'll go ahead, this is called Rest and Relax. And you're gonna place just one drop on the left palm of your hand. And we do the left palm because the left side of the body is the feminine and receptive, and the palm is an energy center, just like your chakras. So then go ahead and rub your hands together for a moment. And I'm gonna bring us through a heart-opening, mind-centering, nervous system calming experience. So as you take a breath in through your nose, this sense of olfaction, you can literally change your state of feeling in the moment. So we're going to do a parasympathetic breath activation. So it's going to be in through the nose, inhaling the oil to the count of 4, and then out through the mouth for the count of 6. So we're going to do it together. So as you're breathing in the oil, just invite your intention. What is it that you have come here for, right here, right now, together? To calm, to receive, to soothe, to open, to connect in a community of like mind. And now breathe in through the nose, 2, 3, 4, and then exhale through the mouth, slower, longer, count of 6, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to do this together 2 more breaths. And just notice how your body starts to shift, how your mind starts to calm. Go ahead and breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and then exhale through the mouth to the count of 6, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just letting yourself come fully here now. Let your breath deepen into your lower belly. To let your mind open to receive. And your muscles soften. To relax. Coming into coherence between brain, mind, and heart. Fully present, breathing in peace, and breathing out any tension from the morning, from the week, from the times. Just inviting in anything that you would like to unlabel within your own being. When we unlabel something for ourselves, we are setting ourselves free to be authentic, present, in the miracle of this moment together. And when you're ready, take one last breath of the oil on your hands in gratitude for carving out this time and space to come together, to rest and receive. Thank you.
Welcome to the Neurologues.
Hi there. Just want to say a couple of things. Nicole, Mom and I, my little family actually, when she told us that she wanted to go to college. So Nicole's, like I said, in Greensboro, living independently and doing a lot of things on her own that she hadn't done before. And so I call her up one day, and this is the conversation that we had. Hey, Nicole,
Hey, Dan.
what are you up to?
I'm waiting on a bus
Oh, cool. Where are you going?
home.
Home. Where were you?
Walmart.
You were at Walmart. Now, Walmart is about 6.5 miles away from where she lived. And it was a 30 to 40 minute bus ride. So immediately so, here we go. What were you doing at Walmart?
Yep.
Did you go by yourself?
Yes, I did.
What did you do there?
I went grocery shopping. I needed groceries.
How did you pay for your groceries?
I went to the bank and got money out.
And how did you get to the bank?
I rode the bus.
Right there. Here.
Yeah, I rode a bus.
How'd you know which bus to take?
I went to, I have a bus schedule, and it shows me which bus to take from my bank into Walmart.
So let me see, you took a bus from your house to the bank, and how did you get money out of the bank?
I wrote a check and the teller gave me cash.
Well, then what?
Then I took another bus to Walmart.
Oh my goodness, Nicole. I'm amazed that you did all that by yourself. I'm really glad you're comfortable with riding a bus by yourself in Greensboro. So how many bags of groceries do you have?
Just two.
Well, that's not too much to carry on a bus. I'm really proud of you. Love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.
One more phone conversation. She got me on this one. So she's in her apartment. I'm here in Asheville, and she calls me up. Hey, Nicole,
Hey, Daddy.
what are you up to?
I have some good news.
Oh yeah, what's the good news?
Adam asked me to marry him, and I said yes.
Wow, that is big news. When did he ask you?
This afternoon.
You just started dating.
I know, but I know he's the one.
Well, that's wonderful. Did you call your mom to let her know?
I'm going to after I talk with you.
Well, listen, we need to sit down and talk about this. And then you all just started dating.
Oh, April Fools.
Everyone. So I'm gonna start by telling a short story about neurodivergence. So in Galileo's day, Jupiter had 4 moons. Today, it has 95. Those moons have always been there, but we just didn't have the capacity to see the other moons. So why am I telling you that story? Because I have some moons here with us today, and many moons yet to be discovered. But I want to share some stories about some moons that I've personally crossed paths with, individuals who profoundly shaped how I understand the way people receive and process information. As I thought about what I'm going to say and how to take 25 years of all of my experiences and all the beautiful people that I have met, and get it down into 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, it really seemed impossible. But it all kept coming back to a phrase that keeps echoing to me because it's come up again and again, and that is, it ain't what you think. So one of my first lessons in this came from a student who faced challenges before she was even born. Her mother had been hit by a car while she was pregnant, and there were many things on board with this young lady, but one of the biggest challenges was she was brand new, freshly minted, got my master's degree displayed, ready for action, and I was ready to dazzle her with some systematic instruction. And so I was sure gonna take my creativity, and I was gonna really dazzle her with this. And so I had taken, my idea was to get bowls of different textures and sizes, and that she would feel the bowl and then maybe know and feel the coin and then go, oh, that's the coin that's in the bowl. But she had a completely different idea, and it had nothing to do with bowls or textures. Instead, she would take the coin and she would drop it. And she would listen to the coin as it dropped. And she could tell you what the denomination was by the way that it sounded. So that blew my mind. I could never have conceived of using sound to do denomination between coins, but she took my adaptation with her beautiful mind and made it work for her. And that is really, I think, a testament to how a lot of these folks work and how we all work, is we're taking in information, and to think that she has to process it at such a much faster speed and then created something, a system all on her own, and that I could have never come up with. So that was my first lesson in It Ain't What You Think. So the next one comes from a middle school young lady that I taught back in 2008, and it was the first class of middle school kids that I taught, and I am still friends with this young lady today and got to witness her go on to wonderful success in life. But she was not physically neurodivergent. This group was more ADHD, processing comprehension, maybe a little bit of dyslexia, but nothing super severe that affected them socially or physically. This young lady is brilliant, though, and full of heart. So she loved being around the teacher. She would probably be considered a teacher's pet. She was always near us in some way, shape, or form, listening to our conversations, doing what she does, running errands and what have you. On this particular day, I was with another teacher, and we were talking shop, and I made some comment to the effect, well, that's the reason why, is because we're the special ed teachers, and this young lady heard me, and she slaps the desk. She says, "Miss Ross, am I in special ed?" Well, it did not occur to me that her parents did not tell her of her label. And I think that's beautiful, although I had just never had that happen where a kid who could know what their label is just didn't know of their label, but equally as beautiful. So I thought, well, am I gonna out her parents? Am I gonna out her? Am I gonna tell her something that's gonna make her think bad of herself? So I just gently smiled and I said, yes, you are, but it ain't what you think. The next lesson that I learned in this was from a young man that I currently have on my caseload today. He is brilliant, dramatic, creative, expressive, and he has wonderful stories. None of them are true. And I confirmed that after about a month when I did confirm, like I said, that Taylor Swift did not wreck their Tesla, nor did they have a Tesla. So once I figured out that his stories were out there, I thought, oh, my work has arrived. I'm gonna get him focused and I'm gonna get him centered. We're gonna get him back down to reality. And I'm gonna use a vision board. This Oprah approved, scientifically proven. You can put it on this board and you're gonna get this out of life. So I started prompting him and I said, what brings you joy? What makes you happy? What, when you think of it, you think, oh, this is what I want out of life. He was about to come out of his seat. He was like, yeah, pocketbooks. I said, pocketbooks? Like purses? He said, yeah, pocketbooks. Well, as you can imagine, that ain't what I was thinking. But I will tell you, we found more pocketbooks in those cut-up magazines than I could have imagined. And just when I would say, I don't think you're going to find another pocketbook, he would most assuredly find another pocketbook in that magazine. And that was my next lesson in, it ain't what you think. So I'll close today with, a sentiment that I've heard over and over again as I'm a special educator, and people will say to me, oh, it really takes a special person to work with the folks that you work with and do what you do. And although I know they mean it kindly, and that it is a compliment to my nature, and I do appreciate it, it has always felt a little bit awkward to accept that compliment for the specialness of others. Because the truth is, I'm not special. I'm no more special than anybody else. But what I am is willing. I am willing to take on a hard job with limited and dwindling resources as we speak. I'm willing to fight for the people who may never know the battle. I'm willing to keep showing up, keep adapting, and keep learning. I'm willing to see people for who they are and not for the labels that have so broadly been cast upon them. So when someone says to me in the future, and they will, you're special for doing this, I will smile back and I will say, thank you, but it ain't what you think.
Alex Pott.
Morning, everyone. Hello, my name is Alex, also known as DJ Sparky, what some people call me because I'm a DJ at Open Hearts. I was chosen to speaker today. I wasn't invited to speaker today because I have autism. They tell me I'm neurodivergent, but I'm not sure what that means. I was in second grade when people told me I was different, and then I went to special ed and the work was easier. I don't mind having autism. I don't always tell people I have it. I used to think one of my old housemates had autism, but he said he didn't. Sometimes it's hard to tell if someone has autism because we look the same as other people, and normal people look the same. To me, having autism is being nice and kind and friendly. I hear other people with autism have issues with, don't like loud noises, like me. A vacuum cleaner bothers some with vacuum cleaner bothers some people with autism, but doesn't bother me. I hear some have sensory issues, whatever that means, and some use a fidget toy to help them. Like me, I use a fidget spinner. My friend Dave has autism, and we both like music. I don't mind. I don't have much more to say about the label autism. I live in a group home, and this is the story of how I got there. I'm going to enter in September 2002, and she was 44. Felt something in her chest, and said ordered she would take chemotherapy treatment. I thought that meant it was a pill, but she said it wasn't. My mom works at the Crossroads daycare, simply church taking care of one of the 1-year-olds while their parents are at work. That's the church you see off of Interstate 26. After her diagnosis, I knew she was sick, but they still made me dinner every night. About a year later, we moved near the beach with our dog, lived to Wilmington, North Carolina. About 2 years later, one of my sisters graduated high school and her dad didn't know any more child support, so we had to move. So I still wonder who lived in that townhouse. And we stayed with my mom's friend in Asheville till we found a place in Hendersonville. I went to North Henderson High School and I liked it there. My master's cancer came back in 2005, and my sister Kim was starting graduate school. And at Carolina, so we moved to Carver with her and my other sister and her dog. I liked it there. I had my own room and there was a swimming pool. I turned 15 on July 3rd, 2006. And my mom told me, then funny how things go downhill fast. I was at the hospital and my sister Kim said, Mom's gonna die, and I asked, what if you give her water? My mom died at age 48 on July 18, 2006 when I was 15. After my mom died and I went to live with my Uncle Mike and Aunt Debbie, I wanted to stay with my sister Kim, but she was busy with school and work. Didn't want to leave our dog Lucy behind, but my aunt and uncle had 3 dogs, which was nice. They had a elderly blind dog, Copper, they had an Australian cattle dog, Bacon, and if she didn't know her, like you couldn't get near her. And they had a friendly dog named Teddy. In 2009, I moved to a group home, and I knew some of the people there from Special Olympics. I also made new friends and get to hang out with friends and the wonderful staff at Open Arts Art Center. Through their supported employment program at Open Arts Art Center, I do DJing and I work on playlists and press the song of the week and DJ at different events. And I started that in 2017. And Tom is my one-on-one worker. He also works at Open Hearts. And me and Tom have been doing things together since 2019. We go to the library, out to eat, the YMCA, Orbit, and Mr. K's. Currently, I am listening to the new Ed Sheeran album Play that came out in 2000. Currently I'm listening to the new Ed Sheeran album Play, which came out on this year on September 12th. I also read the book Sally Field wrote called In Pieces, which is a memoir, and that's about it.
They shrink people down to a single word, a diagnosis, a deficit, a box too small for a whole human being. As someone who is neurodivergent, I know what it feels like to be seen through those labels. I also work alongside a community whose neurodivergence is too often defined by those same narrow boxes. This piece is about breaking free of that. It's about removing the labels and honoring the whole human being underneath. It's my offering of authenticity to you. It's unlabel me, not unable me. Each morning, I adjust the mask I've made, shifting my voice, softening my edges, reshaping pieces of myself so I feel that I am easier to digest. It isn't that I'm unwelcome, it's that I've learned to hide the parts of me that have been called too much or not enough. My brain is a storm, 1,000 tabs open, music and memory colliding. The world, too bright, too loud, too much. And still, this is the brain I bring to work. To sit with others whose storms look like mine. ADHD means my thoughts scatter like sparks, lighting up in every direction at once. Sensory overload means fluorescent lights buzzing louder than my own breath. The hum of a crowded room can shake me from the inside out, and yet I walk into each room, into those lives, into their stories, because I know what it feels like to be told too much when all you are is different. Supporting others is like holding up a mirror. Their restlessness reflects mine. Their silence echoes my silence. Their brilliance, their battles, I recognize it. Sometimes I wonder, how do I guide them when I am still mapping my own maze? How do I hold space for their noise when my own skin hums with sound? When I am still learning to follow my own rhythm? But here's the truth. We don't need perfection. We need presence. We need honesty. We need someone who says, yeah, I get it, I've been there. And even in the chaos, you are not broken. So unlabel me, not unable me, because these labels, disorder, deficit, delayed, disabled, miss the heart of who we are. I now realize my ADHD isn't a barrier, it's a bridge. My sensory overload makes me gentler with theirs. Living inside this difference teaches me to honor theirs. Serving while struggling is messy. It's not clean, it's not easy. What it is real. And real is what heals. Unlabel me, not unable me, because my wiring is not my weakness. It's the way I light the dark.
John Russell.
In a million years, I would not have asked God for a child with an intellectual disability diagnosis. And that's what I got. So 29 years ago, my journey with Emma started. And over those years, Emma, her mom, and I have endured infinite neurology appointments, blood draws, MRIs, watching her have seizures, and much more. And I've also watched other families endure that, and really a lot more. One thing I learned as Emma was aging out of school, typically at 21, 22 in most states, is it got more complicated. So I retired from many years in business to give more space to take care of Emma. And also, her mom and I just thought that we wanted to try to help these individuals and their families in some small way. So right after that, I was touring a facility, an organization, a day facility that served adults of this population. And I came across a room with broken down fitness equipment. And I said, hey, what happens here? It's like story. This person volunteered and they did and stuff like that. The answer was nothing happened here. And I said, hey, do you mind if we get some stationary bikes and let's just see what happens? And that's all I planned. In other words, I had no plan. So, as an ex-business person with no plan, I was forced to do something very funky. listen and to observe. And I wasn't trying to observe these people and this population to say, oh, how can I get them to lift 4 or 5 more pounds or make them more aerobically fit? I wanted to know what would motivate them to choose to exercise. Because we all know showing up to exercise is the hardest part. So here's some of the things I learned from them. If I came and said, hey, how about an exercise class? And it's like, well, maybe not. So I said, okay, well, how about this? How about coming and listen to some music and having fun with some friends? I was like, yeah, all right, high five. So I said, okay, got it. Okay, check one. So we kind of go, we're having fun, and then I learned that, I like to be recognized for the accomplishments, coming to class. So I said, okay. So I bought a piece of construction paper, put their names on it, and they got a sticker every time they completed class. And oh my goodness, I learned that sticker was really important. So then we're getting a bunch of stickers on there, and it's like, well, where are we going here? So I said, okay. We're going to create some goals. And when you get to those goals, you're going to earn stuff. You earn it. We don't give you anything, you earn it. It's like, okay, yeah, I got it. And one day, I was really excited leaving class, and I said, we're going to have a party. And it's like, oh my goodness, I should have never said that because they never let me forget it. It's like every time I showed up, it's like, John, when's the party? When's the party? So I said, I guess I'm going to have a party. So I said, okay, here's the gig. We're going to have a party where we celebrate the things that you earned. It's like, oh, I'm all in. And if you ever want to see excitement like you've never seen, show up to one of these celebrations. It's remarkable. And, we've been doing this about 10 years. And so, recently we learned that, they like to be recognized for what they accomplished by the people that are closest to them. So we created a mechanism within our software where that their caregivers, aunts, uncles, friends, whatever, who they feel like is a good supporter, gets made aware of when they accomplish. So what's the common thread here? None of these things have anything to do with exercise. None of it. And what I learned from them is that a great exercise class doesn't necessarily shape behavior. But if you can make an emotional connection with somebody, that almost always shapes behavior. And so organically, by observing them and learning from them, is that we came up with our trademark mantra. It's called Lead with Heart. And what that simply means is whatever we do with exercise or whatever that is, it has to pass through the portal of how is that making an emotional connection with an individual. Here's the other thing. This works for any level. I think that most fitness places need to learn this, right? Most of us, even if we kind of like it, we ain't showing up for that. Oh, I want to be with my friends, or I feel good about myself. Oh, I want to be here for my kids. So those are some of the things that I learned from them. What did I learn of them? If you'll connect with them in an authentic way, they'll show joy like you've rarely experienced. If you'll spend a little time with them, they will love you unlike most people will ever love you. If you'll invest a little bit of yourself with them, is that you'll probably learn things you could not learn any other way. I remember one of our volunteer instructors, he was some manager guy, and we had a video, and he's coming out of class and says, oh, can I ask you questions? And the videographer said, hey, how does it feel, how does it feel to help these people and volunteering. He looked at that videographer and he says, look, man, they give me 1,000 times more than I could ever give them. And that's what we experience. So I started the story with saying I would have not asked God for a child with an intellectual disability diagnosis. But once again, I show that God's right and I'm not. It must make my life better. And her whole family and everybody she comes in contact with in ways that I cannot articulate. And I cannot be more grateful. But that's not just a lesson for me. That's a lesson for anybody that chooses to connect with this population. They might make your life better. And the joy, oh my goodness, the joy. And you'll probably learn some things you couldn't learn any other way. And one of the things that you might learn most is about yourself. Thank you.
Okay, we gotta do the short girl thing. I think has that got it?
Tilt it down.
Better?
Perfect.
Instructions, right? So, I spent 30 years of my professional career with neurodivergent folk, particularly those diagnosed with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And it was only by happenstance and needing a job that I came across that, because I had a degree in social and rehabilitation services. Had no idea who I was going to rehabilitate, but I needed a job, so I got one as a vocational evaluator through vocational rehabilitation services at a school in Hollywood, Alabama. It was there that I became hooked, and I had no idea how much I would personally learn from the people I supported. And I'd like to just share a few things, like finding joy in most activities. And when I think about that, I think about a young man I job coached, and he had a job at McDonald's, where his job was wiping tables. And he only worked a couple of days a week, a couple of hours each of those days. But he did it with such enthusiasm and joy that the customers planned their visits to McDonald's on the time when he would be there, because they wanted to absorb that joyous energy as well. Or when I was director of a program up in Northeast Alabama, and we decided for some odd reason to bus all of our folks down to Pensacola Beach, Florida. So that was down the whole length of the state of Alabama and the panhandle of Florida. And most of these folks had never even been out of the county. And so when we get there, and I know we all love the beach, being in the mountains, we love the mountains too, but when we got to the beach and they saw the beach for the first time, the look of awe, enthusiasm, and joy in their faces was said it all. But the one thing I remembered particularly was a man named Albert who said, "Miss Brenda, that's the biggest stream of water I've ever seen." Also, I learned, don't underestimate me unless you want to be wrong. Now, being raised by a good Southern mama, she called it being stubborn, but they're pretty stubborn too. And I think about a young lady I job coached, and she got a job at the VA in the kitchen. And as we all know who have worked with that, we usually get to wash dishes, roll some silverware, and things like that.
Well, that's the way she started. Until her manager, unbeknownst to us, decided that she was going to do more. Ended up, she could do all the kitchen prep. Didn't do the actual cooking, but she did all the prep for it, with just from watching other people doing it. It was amazing. And then I also had the opportunity to go visit a program in Ashe County, very rural Ashe County. And that program, they had individuals there who really wanted to work, but there were no jobs available. So what they did was created micro enterprises. And if y'all know, it's just having your own business. So they worked with each person and found out what they liked and what they didn't like. And what they had was, they had dog biscuits. They had making natural laundry detergent. Even had detailing cars. And every one of them got to feel that joy and satisfaction and money, because they all liked that, and they got to feel that with those little micro enterprises. And the last thing I want to share is one thing, and I'm gonna be like you, this one tears me up, is forgiveness, even for the most egregious acts. And I think of the ultimate forgiveness. I think about a young lady who, for many years in her younger life, was homeless with her mother. And for survival, she was taught to shoplift, as well as to offer sexual favors for money. The court intervened, and after that, a guardian was appointed. And she began receiving some services which allowed her to have residential support. But even though her younger years were traumatic, she always focused on family, particularly her mother. Fortunately, she had a wonderful and understanding guardian who assisted her in having a safe relationship with her mom until her mom's death. So through the years, I've been so fortunate and honored to have opportunities with many organizations, including oversight as well as direct participation in services. And I think Mark Twain sums up my view of how these folks live life when he said, and here comes the glasses, sing like no one is listening, love like you've never been hurt, dance like no one is watching, and live like it is heaven on earth.
This microphone. Okay, so my name is Mike Lamb, and I'm the Chief of Police for the Asheville Police Department. I was at a meeting 2 weeks ago, was it, with Heather, and she told me about this wonderful program. And I said, well, I have a wonderful daughter, and she has many wonderful gifts and talents, and I love her very much. In addition to that, she is on the spectrum. She's neurodiverse. And so there's several things that I talked about with Heather about changing some of the policies and procedures that we have within the Asheville Police Department because of my love for her. And about the time I became the Chief of Police of the department, we also learned of Sophie's diagnosis. And I could talk about all the wonderful things that she does and about her, but I want to let her tell you that.
Hi, my name is Sophie, and I'm very proud to be the daughter of an MP. I find joy in learning about other people's lives because sometimes it feels like people don't accept who they are and they want to find something to accept about them. Personally, for me, the creative writing takes your mind out of this world and out of who people see you as. With art, especially with the spray paint, with fashion, and with painting, like with all the old masters, like Van Gogh, who, like people think, who cut off his ears, he was trying to save a boy's life. He did not take his life, but saved others. And like Leonardo, who studied and even dissected people to learn about how mind and body work. That's what I find joy in. I find joy in reading about people like me, and I hope other kids find joy in, again, Keeper's Lost City, Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings, all these classic, one-day classic books. That classic books find truth, love, beauty, and what they are. Not like modern literature who focus on relationship. These people focus on who they truly are. And with creative writing, I take the things in my mind and put them out. Because sometimes I feel like my mind is so scattered and so like a hurricane and tornado that I do not know what to do with it. So I find peace and joy and grounding in what I truly am. And with music, I find that there is this heartbeat in the music. People usually hear the rhythm, but I hear a heartbeat of every artist who takes time and the effort to collaborate and put together music. Thank you.
It's funny, I have another portion, but I can't follow that.
I'm gonna get a little more, here, let's fix this first. Okay, is that better? A little bit? Okay. I'm gonna get into this a bit, but I'm a dance movement therapist, and I just feel like I need to shake it out a little bit. If anyone else wants to just check in with their bodies for a minute. All right, so like I said, I'm Heather Waters, and just for the folks on social media that maybe are watching this or listening to it if they have a vision impairment, I am a white cisgender woman with freckles and brown hair and hazel eyes. I'm wearing a black jumper and speaking to y'all on the ancestral land of the Cherokee here. I'm also neurodivergent and have a chronic illness. In addition to all of those identities I hold and more, I have the privilege of being a DSP at Open Hearts Art Center, a dance movement therapist, and an assistant program coordinator at Waypoint Adventure. And we talked a bit about Open Hearts. I think a lot of us know what Open Hearts is at this point, but Waypoint is a nonprofit that helps make the outdoors accessible to everyone. And actually last night and into 8 o'clock this morning, I was on a through hike with our leaders in training. So if you smell wafts of campfire, it's probably coming from me over here. So in preparation for this monologue, I was reflecting on neurodivergence, of course. And I don't really think so much about a clinical label these days. I think about some of the best people I know, of course, and about all the collective experiences that have led me here, and of course, some of my own individual experiences. So I'm gonna start with that and take y'all back. Just envision it was 1990, I was 5 years old. Oh, there's one of my meds. chronic illness for the win. So yeah, I was rocking my little jelly slide-ons. It was 1990. I was wearing these oversized neon cat sweaters, got Barrettes in my pigtails, dancing to Ice Ice Baby and Mariah Carey, which was the same year that the Americans with Disabilities Act was passed. And I had began receiving services through public school for my learning disability. I had great teachers that nurtured my preferred language, which was movement-based more than anything else. And I would leave the mainstream classrooms often to get these services. But at that age, I didn't really feel othered or that it had much of a noticed impact on my experience. We were all just existing together. But going forward in time a bit, we traveled to my 8th grade year, complex for everyone. So I was given another disability assessment, and I even have that exact copy of that assessment still to this day. And the counselor in the report said, and I quote, "When asked about preparation for her birthday party, Heather could not supply any details of her own wishes. When asked to think about 3 wishes, she only said to stop world hunger. But could not think of any other wishes." But reading this as an adult, it really strikes me deeply that the counselor was looking for a list of self-centered party details and instead found a really overwhelming amount of empathy from a child that they saw a deficit in. Again, moving forward in time to when I was 17 and looking at colleges, my high school guidance counselor told me I wasn't gonna get into college. But luckily for me, I'm from Philadelphia, and I don't know if you've met a Philadelphian, but we're an intense folk. I didn't take that statement to heart. And that's also something that folks in the disability community have to do all the time. So I went to college, and what I found was a different learning experience in which I thrived. I was lucky enough to double major in dance and anthropology, 2 things I was very passionate about. I joined a dance company and started to become more confident in who I was as a neurodivergent and chronically ill person in this world. As my journey continued, I had so many life-altering experiences in which I was continually welcomed and supported by the disability community. I got the opportunity to work as an outdoor educator and lead teams connecting with one another and lead adaptive rock climbing trips. I worked at summer camps centered around disability and celebrating each person and what makes us unique. I worked as a DSP for many families as I traveled around the United States. And I started to combine my love for the outdoors, for movement, and for neurodivergence and disability. So I went to graduate school eventually for dance movement therapy and counseling, where I really honed in my focus on my professional life of providing mental health services primarily for overlooked folks in the state of North Carolina by facilitating individual and group therapies that focused on expressing oneself outside of the boundaries of verbal language. These experiences and people I have been supported by along the way have led me here to Open Hearts. I'm gonna start crying too. To Open Hearts Art Center, where I'm able to combine art, movement, and disability representation in a passionate and supportive community. In fact, this past July, which is Disability Pride Month, we held the first Disability Pride parade with the support of Open Hearts artists and staff, along with our Asheville community. Woo! Woo! It's also led me to Waypoint Adventure, where I get to support folks all across Western North Carolina in gaining access to the outdoors, combining movement, nature, and disability representation in spaces that may not typically have been accessible before. So the truth is, a neurodivergent experience is a human experience. My existence is politicized, living life in the way I do, and the way many of us do, becomes a social justice movement. It's about authentically existing in spaces still primarily run by others. So let's celebrate who we are. Let's tap into whatever unique strengths and gifts we have. Let's love weird. Let's lead with empathy, compassion, and human connection. That's the work, that's the purpose behind everything from the Disability Pride Parade to the everyday work of just being ourselves. So though labels greatly color how we exist in the world today, label me to see me. use the language of neurodiversity to grant access, to secure services, to find your community, but then to truly see me and know me, unlabel me.
First of all, before I even get started, go ahead and unlabel me because I know you're looking at my pants and it looks like I peed myself. That's not true, okay? What has happened over here is I spilled a wine spritz on myself. That's $9. Let's label that $9. Now the tubes, I have witnesses, that's a police officer. So real quick, I want to speak about my friend Otis. Otis is a man I met when I was 20 years old. I got my first job as a DSP in the state of Georgia, middle of nowhere, brother. We're talking God's country. And Otis was this older black gentleman, and this program was ran by women a good 30 years older than me. Everyone that worked there was a solid 30 years older than me, and they were all women. I was the only man that worked there. And Otis was, as I was told, he was this man that was, kind of grumpy, a little standoffish. And what I found when I started talking with Otis and just kind of, tinkering with different things, like different methods of speaking to him, is that he was raised by his mother who gave him everything he wanted. She loved her boy. That's so sweet. Love that. And all these women that at this program also were very sweet older women who just wanted to, Otis, can I get you a coffee, honey? Can I, What I found was that Otis really wanted to just be useful. He wanted to help. So some of the things I started doing with Otis, this is how I found this out. One time I was backing up a company vehicle, and we had a back lot that had a basketball court and all kind of stuff. As a joke, I was like, hey Otis, help me back this thing up. I was backing up a truck. The biggest smile I've ever seen. He stands back, and I'm gonna do this impression of him because it's right on the money. He said, come on back, you got it. Now, he never said left or right. He only did this. And he would wait until the truck was all the way in park, backed up in park, and he would go, whoa. Now, when I started, after that, I bragged about him to everybody. I was like, Otis, help me. He was like smiling. They doubted me. These women were like, yeah, young punk. Whatever. So what I started doing is I started just asking for his help. I would make up chores for us. Like, Otis, I need your help today. I need you. We have to leaf blow the front of the building. It's just like this little driveway. I give him a leaf blower. He, blow leaves all over the place. But I always noticed that he wore overalls and work boots, and he was never asked to help with anything his whole life. He was in school, he was in a classroom, pretty segregated from everyone else. He then got out of high school, went straight into a day program where he was never asked to help with anyone. Now, if you're a DSP or if you've ever worked in this field, which I have, I work for Open Hearts Arts Center, by the way, Boundless Arts Coordinator. No big deal. No big deal. I ain't bragging. But if you work in the field, you know that the pay, historically, not the best maybe. That's okay. That's okay. Because we all know the little secret every DSP in here knows. We're all doing it for the drive home after work. How good you feel after a shift and you help somebody and something went really well, or somebody did something you never seen them do. That's why you do it. Now, what you have to consider when you're trying to help someone with any sort of disability is that they want to feel that same way. They want to feel helpful, So when we think of the term, I need you, or I need your help, we always associate it with what we can do for them. But we never really think about what they could do for us and how that would affect them and make them feel good. Right? So that's something to think about. And Otis, rest in peace. Rest in peace, I love him. I was a pallbearer at his funeral. They called me up, his family. I went down there, I was a pallbearer. Love him to death. But he taught me that lesson, and I use it every day. And there is an artist, I wanted to say this, there is an artist at Open Hearts right now. Now this could cost me my job, folks. There is a rumor going around, the only reason I'm still working, I'm still at work, is because I'm this person's whisperer. Because I go when this person is refusing to even leave the building or go into a classroom. They go, Matt, can you please help? And I go, yeah. And I go whisper something in his ear, and he goes. I'll tell you the secret here. So if you're attending this is a big deal. And if you work at Open Hearts, do not tell anyone I've said this. All I do is go, hey buddy, I can't do this class unless you help me out. I need your help. And 10 out of 10, I never miss. It works every time. So that's really all I wanted to speak about. Reach out to them. Ask them for help. It really does make a difference in their day like it makes a difference in ours. Thank you, everybody.
Jennifer Knapp.
I want to tell you a story about a kid that I met several years ago when I first started working as a speech therapist way up in Madison County. And at that time, I had a wonderful mentor. Her name is Joanne Allison. And she's an intuitive, perspicacious, insightful person. And she was helping me put together a new caseload for kids that I would be seeing up in the schools of Madison County. And she said, Jennifer, I want to talk to you about one particular kid. He's autistic, he's nonverbal, he makes vocalizations, but they're not intentional, and they also aren't really intelligible. So I had to go up to this little school and drive way up in the mountains and try to help this person learn how to communicate and connect with others a little better. And I went into this school, and he was in a special education classroom, and beautiful boy, about 7 years old. I walked in the classroom, and his eyes were just locked on a computer screen. And he had a mouse, and he was moving the mouse around. And I heard him making these really soft little sounds. He would say things like, I, oi, e, oo, ah. And I thought, okay, this is gonna be an interesting situation. And so I came over to sit next to him, and he did not acknowledge me. And I realized very soon that I could not compete with the visual stimulation of the computer screen. So in the following weeks, I came back during lunchtime, and then I came back during a structured playtime, and at one point, I got him to say app for apple, which I thought was pretty good, although it was just one syllable for one word, which really isn't very much, but that's what I had to start with. And so I was thinking about this and the sounds that he was making, and I went back to my office, and a couple days later, Joanne called me and she said, Jennifer, I gotta talk to you about Samuel. And I said, okay. She said, I had to go up to the school where he is to deliver some papers to the teacher, and I was listening to him, and he's talking. And I said, what, Joanne? No, he's not talking. We got one syllable of one word, but he is definitely not talking. And she said, no, he's not saying syllables, and he's not saying words. He's speaking in sentences. And I said, I don't understand, Joanne. She said, you got to listen. You got to listen. He's speaking in sentences, but he's not saying the consonants. He's just saying the vowels. She said, this is what I heard him say. I heard him say, I, oi. I, oi. I'm a good boy. this child was not simply labeling things like little, babies. There's like truck, car, book. He wasn't labeling. He wasn't echoing. He was actually speaking something about himself. He was showing self-awareness, and he was also showing language skills, but he just wasn't using the consonants. And so, wow, how important is it for us to listen to our children, right? It is so important for us to listen to our children. And as a speech therapist, I spend a lot of time talking and holding the space for other people to talk. But the most important thing I can do is to listen. Because when I listen, I can understand things that other people can't comprehend. And I can see into the personhood of those who go unseen. And I want to ask you, did you know that the vagus nerve, which brings life to your beautiful voice, runs straight through your heart? That is not random. That is a divine message. Thank you.
Just bring the lights up.
What is this stuff? Is there grass here? Is there soil here? Anywhere? Are you here? Is there soil here? I don't know if I can function right now. Feeling anxious? What happened? Wood. Oh, wood. Oh, wood. Oh, skin. Oh, skin. Something like me. Oh, wood. Oh. Is this an island? Is this an island of plastic? I just want this wood and skin. What am I doing here? I think I was playing this. I love you. It's 3:30. Three plus a zero. Zero is the magical number. It has no value, but if you add it to other numerals, it times 10. amateur, but I know that there's music to be made. Oh, I have to find the song. That's what they told me. That's what they told me. I have to find the song that they sang when I was departing. Whoa, 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 here it is. When I see you, I see myself, and that's how I know. Together we're gonna grow it all. Whoa, 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 whoa. When I see you, I see myself, and that's how I know. Together we're gonna grow. Whoa, 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 whoa. When I see you, I see myself, and that's how I know. Together we're gonna grow. Whoa, 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 whoa. When I see you, I see myself, and that's how I know. Together we're gonna grow. Every divergent path is a path back to unity. When I see you, I see myself, and that's how I know. Together we're gonna grow. All diversity, part of creation. One. When I see you, I see myself, and that's how I know. Together we're gonna grow. Come on, let's sing. Whoa, 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 whoa. When I see you, I see myself, and that's how I know. Together we're gonna grow. Vagal nerve from the crotch all the way up through the head. When I see you, I see myself, and that's how I know. Together we're gonna grow. Wake it up, 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 wake it up now. Rastafari. When I see you, I see myself, and that's how I know. Together we're gonna grow.
Very bright light. It's funny, I think about being in a room with sensory processing and like how I want to stand up and I want to move around and I don't want to sit still and the light's too bright and if there's air blowing on me I can't focus and hi, I'm Elsie Clemens. These are really wonderful people to be around and I'm prone to cry because I got my diagnosis just a few years ago with ADHD, and I grew up in a family of doctors, And I gotta tell you, I don't like that word diagnosis because it's something to be treated. I have something wrong with me and I need to take medicine so that I can get better. I need to learn how to act better. I need to learn how to be better. And there's nothing wrong with me.
Amen.
And when I got my diagnosis, it was in 2019, right before COVID shut everything down. And with COVID brought me having more time at home. I run my own company. I do a lot of different things. It turns out that's part of what's wrong with me. And it led me to TikTok, a thing that I thought was about cat videos. And it turns out it was not about cat videos. There were a lot of people all over the world that were like me. And I didn't know that I was different in the way that, like, there was something broken. I'd never felt like I was wrong, but I've been told my whole life a variety of things. And some of the things are, I talk too much. And it turns out that's because I'm a verbal processor. And I seek a lot of information, so I ask too many questions. I'm not questioning your knowledge, and I'm not questioning your authority. I'm not trying to insult you. I'm trying to understand you. And I'm trying to be understood. I'm too loud. And it turns out that is about difficulty modulating volume due to sensory processing differences that I have between some of you. My sister says that I don't have an inside voice. I like to think I just project really well so that people can hear me at the back of a room. Sometimes you can hear me a block away, but that is good in many instances. It turns out that I am not wrong. Sometimes I'm just in the wrong places, around the wrong people that don't really understand me. They don't see the values in what's right about me. I'm too distracted. I'm not distracted. I hear everything. I hear everyone talking all the time. I was at Leaf Festival over the weekend up at Lake Eden, and I needed to take a quick power nap. And I take naps in rooms, busy rooms with lots of people where lots of things are going on, and it's very easy for me. I just turn off the computer. That's what I've always referred to it as. I'm ready to shut the computer down, so I just shut down. And I get in my blanket and I pull it over my head, and I can hear 5 different kinds of music playing, and I can hear 50 different conversations coming from every different direction around the tent that I was in. And my brain was so quiet. It was such a relief to have all the noise that I hear inside my head outside of my head. And I asked one of my friends that was sitting there, I said, "Hey, Steve, close your eyes. Do you hear the music playing in different parts of the valley, like on all the different stages?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Do you hear all the different conversations around you? Like there's like 50 different groups of people having totally different conversations?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "That's what it's like in my brain every single day, all day long. From the moment I wake up," and to be honest, it's actually like that while I'm sleeping. I'm exhausted a lot of times when I wake up. I try not to remember my dreams because they become equal in the memories and the busyness that's inside my mind. I'm too intense. I'm too emotional. I cry with you. You tell stories and I can feel what it feels like when somebody tells me a story. I build the movie in my head of what they're telling me. And if they've been through something, I can feel that sadness when I see a person or an animal that needs something, I feel how we have a responsibility to help. Why would we not do that? I can't sit still. That's motor restlessness and a need for movement to self-regulate my sensory overload. I don't mean to be distracting you in a meeting when I'm pacing. When I speak at conferences, I need a really big stage. And I take the microphone out and I walk, because me standing in a room this size with this many people is still a lot of energy coming off of this stage. And I need to move because I feel that much energy inside of me all the time. I'm inappropriate. I say inappropriate things. My sister, by the way, I'm gonna mention her a lot. If she's watching this video ever, I'm sorry. I intentionally did not send her the link so that she would not get what I say about her. Ironically, my sister is a PhD in communication. She teaches at the University of Alabama. I think it's really funny that I have difficulty communicating, and I didn't know that this was the source of a lot of conflict in our relationship, because she knows how to communicate. And she has always joked about me that I need to go to finishing school to finish learning how to act, to finish learning how to behave. Because I don't act right in public. You know, I'm supposed to do certain things and say certain things and not say certain things and not ask certain questions. I'm disrespectful. But I have difficulty with unspoken social norms and boundaries. I don't mean to be disrespectful. I have questions. This is what I hear all the time. I'm argumentative. I can't just let something go. I'm not arguing. I want to understand what you're talking about. I want to try to explain to you what I'm trying to explain to you. It's just a data exchange. There's no emotion to it. I'm just trying to relay some data to you. I'm trying to receive the data that you have and then make sense of it. And I assume that you're trying to do the same thing. So when I ask you, do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be rude or condescending. I'm literally asking, does any of this make any sense? Because sometimes I don't know. I'm self-centered. This one has ended many important relationships. I was just mentioning out in the lobby earlier that I lost a really important colleague friendship when I was visiting her in France. And I've known her for years, so I thought like she knew me and she accepted me, and I thought she understood my quirkiness, and this is before my diagnosis, so I didn't have a language to explain me to people. I just figured the people that were friends with me liked me for who I was. And I went to visit her, and all through the whole evening she kept saying, hey, are you hungry? And I was like, no, I'm not hungry. I'm just gonna have some cocktails. I'm good. I don't need to eat. And then a few hours would pass and she would say, are you hungry? I was like, no, I'm still not hungry. 10, where we're like, oh my God, do they hide tags in every piece of clothing? How many tags do I have to cut out of things? Where you have to wear your shirts inside out because the stitches, you can feel the stitches on you. All of the little sensory things. I can't stand to have chalk on my fingers, and being an artist, that's a hard thing. Who in here hears music in their head? Raise your hands. Who here, keep your hand up if you hear more than one song playing. Keep your hand up if you hear music from the moment you wake up until the moment you go to sleep. You don't get a choice. Okay, let's call that yellow. Some of us have one soft song playing in the background. Let's call that a 1 or 2. Some of us are at a 10 because we have 6 songs playing and it's loud, blaring from the moment we wake up in the morning until we go to sleep. Okay? Who in here has a inner monologue? By the way, that's only one person talking. Who here hears a voice in their head? who has active conversations with that voice? Who here has more than one voice? Raise those hands up if you got more than one living in there. Let's call that blue. The people who only hear one voice, and sometimes it can be quiet, great, you're at a 1. Those of us that's got 5 people in here chattering around all the time, and that's on top of the music, we're at a 10. Okay, let's talk about if I say the word cat. Who in here doesn't see an image of cat? They just hear the word cat. There are people that don't see pictures in your head. Raise your hand if you don't see a picture of a cat. Raise your hand if not only do you see a picture of a cat, but you can smell the cat and feel the cat and hear the cat and experience the cat. Let's call that violet. Some of us deeply live in the movie that is living inside our head, along with the 5 people that are talking, along with the 5 songs that are playing. All of those things being said, I cannot share how much I appreciate hearing all of your stories. I cannot tell you how much it makes me feel better to be unlabeled. And I think if we all work together, we can change the DSM and we can demand dignity. And we can start to be unlabeled and just seen as a variety of beautiful colors. Thank you.